Hi there, mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6.
Check, 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 check.
Connecticut's #1 local news. This is Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
First up at 5 o'clock, bracing for Winter Storm Bobby. It is all eyes on what is expected to be a monster nor'easter.
Yeah, it could pack fierce winds and dump a whole lot of snow, depending on where you live. These numbers, of course, have been changing,
Yes.
but we're getting more, narrowing it down a little bit. We have team coverage for you tonight. Channel 3's Matt McFarland and Mike Savino are standing by with how the state and communities are getting ready.
But first, we want to get the very latest from meteorologist Mark Dixon. Mark.
This is certainly going to be a high-impact storm, one that we've been talking about for days, and as well a lot of uncertainty regarding the track. Things are coming into a little bit better focus as we get to the start, which is still over 24 hours away. But in anticipation of that, we do have a winter storm watch up for the entire state. It runs throughout the course of our Saturday. So headlines, this is what we're talking about. Saturday morning, by then it's going to be snowing statewide. The storm really ramps up points thereafter. We're talking about a peak between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. That's when we could see some snowfall rates at 1 to 2 inches an hour, especially across eastern and southeast Connecticut. That's also where we're going to see some of the strongest wind gusts, perhaps as high as 45 to 55 miles an hour. So with the heaviest of the snow and the strongest wind, we could see some near whiteout conditions. Also, it's going to be very cold on Saturday. Temps in the teens and low 20s will feel more like the single digits, if not sub-zero. It's all going to be winding down by Saturday evening. By then, we're forecasting 12 to 16 inches of snow across eastern Connecticut, up and down the 395 corridor, perhaps some locally higher amounts near the Rhode Island border. Heading farther west from there, 6 to 12 inches, including the Hartford and New Haven areas. And then as you head into the hill towns of extreme northwestern Litchfield County, forecasting 2 to 6 inches there. So in the meantime, we've got temps in the 20s. We've got a clear sky, a little bit of a breeze out there, makes it feel a bit colder. That wind is out of the south, and that's going to initially prevent temperatures from dropping too much tonight. At the same time, clouds will be on the increase as a front approaches from the west. You can see some scattered snow showers across New York and Pennsylvania. So overnight tonight becoming cloudy. There's also the chance throughout the day tomorrow for a couple of snow showers or some flurries. Nothing too impactful. Could get a brief coating in a few communities, but this is unrelated to Winter Storm Bobby. Again, that's arriving tomorrow night and really having a big impact on our Saturday. So temperatures tomorrow will start off at 7 o'clock in the 20s. By the afternoon, reach between 30 and 35 degrees. Much more on Bobby and the rest of the weekend ahead in the early warning 7-day.
Mark, thank you very much. We, of course, know there are a lot of questions as we head into the weekend, and the forecast and the track, as Mark mentioned, still coming together. So join him tonight at 7 p.m. on Facebook Live. Mark will be answering all of your questions about Winter Storm Bobby. And the DOT has been getting ready, of course, for this winter storm, treating the roads and making sure all of their equipment is working.
Checking it once, checking it twice.
Yes.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Mike Savino has been checking in as well on all those preparations. He's live right now in Vernon with more on how ready they are to go. Hi there, Mike.
The DOT says they'll be ready. I mean, this is New England, of course, so a storm like this is not new territory for them, but they are dealing with a staffing shortage that could become a problem the longer this storm goes.
We've been monitoring the forecast very closely, of course, and getting our crews and our equipment ready to go.
Winter Storm Bobby may still be a day away, but preparations are already well underway. The state DOT making sure that roads are treated, trucks are in working order, and drivers are ready. The same goes for local public works departments.
Making sure plows are ready, sanders are working correctly, all our calibrations are right.
But the storm comes at a time when many departments are dealing with staffing shortages.
We have about 200 vacancies, and we have another group of folks who are out with, they're just absent due to COVID or other reasons.
The DOT says it has enough staff to send out its usual fleet of more than 600 trucks. But as the storm rolls on and drivers take their mandatory breaks, some of those trucks may need to park for a bit. The DOT says it will need to plan ahead, including looking for areas where conditions aren't as bad. They're also urging people to stay home.
Saturday would be a great day to play with the kids, either out in the snow or board games inside.
For many people, that is the plan.
Yeah, I'm going to stay. I'm retired, so it's okay. I'll sit at home and wait.
But not everyone can do that.
I have to work this weekend, so it sucks.
Now, if you do have to go out, watch for travel advisories. The DOT says that travel restrictions could be in play if conditions are bad enough. Meanwhile, officials here in Vernon say there are things that you can also do to get yourself ready. I'll tell you more about that coming up on Eyewitness News at 6. For now, live from Vernon, Mike Savino, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, sounds good, Mike. Thank you very much. Winter Storm Bobby, of course, still more than 24 hours out, but plenty of people along the shoreline are already preparing for whatever comes our way. Channel 3 New Haven Bureau Chief Matt McFarland is live with the mobile newsroom along the Connecticut coastline with how they are all getting ready. Matt.
Well, Aaron, the snow is just one aspect of the storm. That's because right here along the shoreline, well, they're also looking at the potential for those high winds, and you're dealing with the high tide and the timing of the storm. So looking at for some potential of some coastal flooding as well. From East Haven's cozy beach, Long Island Sound is flat and calm. Just some seagulls and a few ducks. But come this weekend, as a nor'easter comes up the coast, it will be anything but.
We've seen some pretty good storms down here over the years.
Tony Moscato remembers the water in his basement from both Sandy and Irene. So whenever a big storm is in the forecast, flooding is something he always looks out for, along with the wind. And with this being winter, then you have to factor in the snow.
Anything loose in the yard, I put away or put it where wind can't get at it so it doesn't blow around. Make sure the snow blower's ready, the generator's ready.
Right. And speaking of snow blowers, at Goody's True Value Hardware, they still have a few left. With uncertainty earlier in the week about just how much snow we could see, these machines have been in demand.
Normally it's ice melt and shovels, but because it was supposed to, well, we'll see what happens, but it was going to be very large snowfall amounts. People are looking for a lot of snow blowers, and especially the bigger ones.
For David Katz, even before the first flake flies, a major storm always means a flurry of activity at his store.
It's the first big one for quite a while. People are very excited, a little nervous.
But back along the water, Tony says, after living here his entire life, you just have to roll with it.
It's New England. We were just talking. Next week it might go near 50 degrees, they're saying. So.
And the city of New Haven is making sure it's going to be ready as well. We're going to have that part of the story coming up tonight, live on Channel 3 at 6. We're live with the mobile newsroom in New Haven. Matt McFarland, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
All right, nice, so pretty behind you, man. It doesn't even look real right there. Very nice, yeah, like a picture. Eversource, meanwhile, is gearing up for a winter storm, Bobby, as well. Crews have been out and about getting ready and preparing the trucks all day. Here's a picture from earlier today in Newington. They're getting all their tools ready to go, they say, in case there are power outages over the weekend. Keep it right here for continuing coverage of Winter Storm Bobby. Be sure to download the Channel 3 app. You will get important updates right there on your phone.
Heading to Hartford now, where we've just learned the Red Cross is helping 25 adults and 25 children after an early morning fire. That fire broke out just before 5 a.m. at an apartment building on Park Street near Zion Street. Cold weather created difficult conditions for crews because a nearby hydrant was frozen. We're told the fire started on the 4th floor, but then spread to the 3rd and 5th floors. Officials say everyone was able to get out safely. New at 5 o'clock, police in Hamden are putting out a warning after a 76-year-old man was attacked and robbed right outside his home. The victim had just returned from a walk on Laurel Road when someone came up from behind and hit him in the head. 2 suspects took his wallet and ran toward Prospect Street. The victim suffered a cut to his head, but thankfully is expected to be okay.
Also new for you tonight at 5 o'clock, a plan is taking flight to save Brainerd Airport in Hartford. It could be in danger of closing, but there is a grassroots association working right now to keep the runway open. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Sharon Johnson is live at the airport right now with more on what they're doing. Sharon?
Well, Mark, members of the association say that there are many reasons to keep the airport open, starting with jobs.
We bring aircraft in from all over New England and the mid-Atlantic states.
Barbara Rowley owns VIP Avionics, a company that provides maintenance, avionics, and instrument repair for aircraft across the country. Her business is one of several that could be in jeopardy with talks of closing the Hartford Brainerd Airport.
We could bring in a good handful of people who have business interests that would be jeopardized.
Last year, the Hartford City Council approved a resolution introduced by Councilman James Sanchez to explore closing the airport and redeveloping the area. The resolution also approved the South Meadows Area Redevelopment Task Force, which will recommend the next steps for the area. But the newly formed Hartford Brainerd Airport Association, which represents pilots, business owners, and supporters of the airport, is fighting back.
The people who I'm mentioning who use this airport are active pilots, they are hangar owners, they are aircraft owners.
Pilot and member Michael Tiger says a century-old airport brings in business, supports local jobs, and is vital for the state. A 2016 legislative committee report backs Tiger up, saying the airport's benefits outweigh the costs. The 2016 report also mentions that closure and redevelopment would be slow, costly, and risky.
Because if the airport closed, we don't have another plan B.
I reached out to Mayor Luke Bronin about today's press conference. He says in part, full redevelopment of the Brainerd property would take years, but we should be working now to reposition the South Meadows for the next generation. We also reached out to Councilman Sanchez, who says, my solution is and will continue to be driven by community leaders and advocates, which is why I encourage interested parties to reach out to my office about the new SMART task force. And we also reached out to the Connecticut Airport Authority. A spokesperson says in part, quote, the Connecticut Airport Authority has no intention to close the airport and is not in a position to allocate its own financial resources to initiate this process. In order for an airport such as Brainerd to achieve its maximum potential, support from the city is needed. Now, meanwhile, the association says that they want transparency from city leaders about their plans for the airport. And meanwhile, the SMART task force is set to start meeting next month, and they have 90 days to bring recommendations. Live in Hartford tonight, Sharon Johnson, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Sharon, thank you very much. Still ahead tonight, preparing for an historic Supreme Court nomination. What we're learning about President Biden's choice to replace Justice Stephen Breyer.
And stocking up ahead of the storm this weekend, how supply chain issues are affecting shoppers getting ready for the impending nor'easter.
And preventing overdoses at school. One district is giving teachers and staff a life-saving lesson.
Top of my head. The other ones were kind of like, not as much, but yeah, it's fine. Does this sound good? Okay.
That sounds good. I think you're better off ad-libbing, if anyone wants to know mine.
Yeah, no, I noticed when I was reading the script, I was like, I don't know how, when I was reading the script, I was like thinking, probably shouldn't have been thinking, but I was like, what you guys do is pretty tough.
Well,
because
not as hard as what you do.
because you're reading and ad-libbing. Because like I want to only do one or the other. It's like I don't want to ad-lib while I'm reading a script.
Whatever you get used to, I think. It's the same. Like I couldn't do what you guys do. Yeah, exactly. And I always think, I personally think, whether people seem more restricted when they're trying.
The teenager accused of killing 4 people at a school in Michigan will use an insanity defense at his trial. Police say Ethan Crumbly used a gun his parents bought for him for Christmas to open fire at Oxford High School in November. 4 teenagers were killed in the attack and 7 others, including a teacher, were injured. The 15-year-old suspect is being charged as an adult.
A final farewell today for one of the New York City police officers killed in the line of duty. A funeral was held at St. Patrick's Cathedral for 22-year-old Jason Rivera. He was killed by a suspect last week while responding to a domestic disturbance. A second officer was also shot and died a few days later. Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer is officially retiring, paving the way for the president to make an historic nomination. The 83-year-old has served on the court for nearly 3 decades.
It's a kind of miracle when you sit there and see all those people in front of you, people that are so different in what they think, and yet they've decided to help solve their major differences under law.
Now, the front runner on the list of potential candidates is federal appeals court judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, who clerked for Justice Breyer. She would be the first African-American woman on the Supreme Court. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said he wants to move quickly on confirming a nominee.
Right, of course. All right, we're talking about Winter Storm Bobby. And I'm forgetting what half hour we're in because it's that busy of a day with this impending storm. The storm doesn't even start, of course, until more than 24 hours from now. So currently we've got a clear sky. We've got temperatures in the 20s inland, mid-20s, upper 20s along the Connecticut shoreline. A little bit of a southerly component to the wind, 5 to 10 miles an hour. That wind direction is going to prevent temperatures from dropping too much tonight with an increase in cloud cover. But in the meantime, regardless of wind direction, it does make it feel more like the teens all across the state. So from Waterbury, we've got 23, a calm wind there. A nice view from New London. Sunset 16 minutes ago, 26 there for coastal southeast Connecticut. So looking at the big picture, a couple things happening. We've got high pressure offshore. We've got a cold front off to our west. That's going to move in tomorrow and trigger a couple of isolated snow showers. Otherwise, we're going to end the week with a lot of cloud cover. But you look to our south, like where's the coastal storm? Well, we've got energy that's going to be moving across the plains and further developing once it hits the east coast. So Futurecast capturing this, showing the storm again as we head through the day tomorrow, really beginning to pop up and then move to the northeast, taking a track that we're going to be seeing all snow here in Connecticut, of course, with high pressure across eastern Canada. That's going to lock in a lot of cold air for us. In fact, temperatures on Saturday may not get out of the teens. So we're talking about, for many communities, a light, fluffy snow. And it is going to really be a high impact situation, not only some heavy snow, but also poor visibility and as well a very gusty wind. So we're going to likely miss out on blizzard conditions. Those could be realized throughout eastern Massachusetts. Here in Connecticut, we're looking at certainly reduce visibility with some very heavy snow rates at around 1 to 2 inches an hour, especially across eastern and southeast Connecticut. By the time it's all said and done by Saturday evening, 12 to 16 inches, perhaps some locally higher amounts as you head farther west and northwest, looking at 6 to 12, and then the extreme northwestern corner of the state forecasting 2 to 6 inches. So heavy snow, poor visibility, that's certainly a high impact with the winds gusting to perhaps 45 to 55 miles an hour. We're talking about blowing and drifting of snow that could also lead to some isolated to scattered power outages. It's always a good reason to have to have the Channel 3 app. If you've yet to download it, to do so. You can stay informed with the latest weather alerts and as well updates on this evolving situation. Coastal flooding, not as big of an issue given the wind direction at the time of high tide coming up both cycles on Saturday. So the winds as we head tomorrow evening, initially not bad. As we head toward daybreak Saturday and points thereafter, this is when we could get those gusts, say 45 to 55 miles an hour. Regardless, on Saturday again, temps will be in the teens for much of the day. When you factor in just even the sustained wind, we're talking about wind chill values in the single digits and even below zero. So if you're going to be out shoveling, doing some snow blowing, this is what you're going to be faced with throughout the course of Saturday. And we do encourage, with the amount of snow we could see, going out several times, given that we could see over a foot in parts of our state. So in the meantime, tonight looking for an increase in cloud cover. Tomorrow, just see some splotchy areas of blue indicating that chance for some spotty snow showers. Nothing too impactful, maybe a little coating in spots. Temperatures top out between 30 and 35 in many communities. So on our 7-day forecast, once we get past Saturday, Sunday's mostly sunny. Temps in the 20s. Then Monday starts off cold in the single digits, but look at that warming trend. By Wednesday, mid-40s. By Thursday, we're talking about temps near 50. And by next Thursday, our next storm system could bring some rain to Connecticut as opposed to snow. For shoreline highs this weekend, low to mid-20s as we head Saturday into Sunday. Of course, that wind will make it feel much colder.
Alrighty, Mark, thank you very much. So we know many of you have been wondering what to expect for this upcoming weekend. And thank you to all of you who reached out with some great questions on social media.
They've been coming in rapid fire. Meteorologist Connor Lewis has been going through Facebook and Instagram. He's joining us right now with some answers. All right, Connor, first question right here. What's the timing of the storm, when it will begin, and how many inches of snow are we getting? Obviously, this is some of what's been changing over the past few days, right?
Yeah, Mark, Aaron, for sure. Yeah, definitely we've been changing around with the snow totals over the past couple of days, but the timing does seem to be pretty good alignment that we're going to start looking at those light snow accumulations around midnight for tomorrow, and then into Saturday morning, we're going to start to see that piling up. So we're waking up with everything covered in snow for Saturday morning, and this is going to be a little bit of a deceptive period for Saturday morning. The winds aren't that bad, gusting up to 30 miles per hour, only a couple inches, few inches on the ground, but this is going to be a time where you don't want to go for a long trip or something like that. Maybe one more last-minute errand for Saturday morning, because by the time we get to 10 o'clock in the morning Saturday into 4 p.m., that's going to be the worst of it. We're seeing 1 to 2 inch per hour snowfall rates, and then light snow continue into the evening, and then flurries will cap us off for Saturday evening. So the good news is that all this mess is going to be on Saturday for us.
All right, well, question number 2 here. As of this moment, where do things stand as to storm impacts? They're talking snow, wind, the whole kit and caboodle.
So we want to definitely get this message across that things are going to be worse in eastern Connecticut compared to western Connecticut in terms of the snowfall. However, the winds are going to be pretty evenly spread across the state, so power outages are going to be pretty likely for just about anyone. However, more likely for eastern Connecticut towards Rhode Island, because the snow will be heavier over there, and we may actually see some places get into the mid-50s for those for the gusts. Mid-50s, 55 mile per hour wind gusts are going to be possible towards Rhode Island. So, of course, with that, possibility of some trees coming down and isolated power outages as well.
Yeah, good to know right there. Our last question right here, Connor. Caitlin wants to know, I have a flight Sunday at 6 a.m. What's the likelihood of cancellations for any morning flights?
Caitlin, I think you should pack your bags. You're good to go. Hopefully you're going somewhere warmer than us. We'll just take care of everything here in Connecticut. We'll be freezing for sure, but have fun out there. Flights should be good to go by Sunday morning. Cleaning up the roads, everything like that. We're back to business on Sunday morning.
All right. Are you excited about this, Connor?
Yeah, I'm super stoked, man. Let's bring it on.
Yeah.
Definitely want to see some snow, and also some good news. 50s are in the forecast, so right around the corner, we might see some of that snow melting.
All right.
We're on the up and up
Thank
after
you,
Bobby.
Connor, very much. Still ahead for you, a brand new strategy to make America's roads safer. We are breaking down the plan to help prevent deadly crashes.
And it is a whole new way to enjoy the great outdoors, how this classy campground can help get you out of the house in the middle of winter.
All new tonight at 5, the University of Connecticut has appointed a brand new interim president. The UConn Board of Trustees voted unanimously to appoint Dr. Radenka Merrick. She started at UConn in 2010 as a professor of chemical and biomolecular engineering. She is originally from the former Yugoslavia.
Deaths from car crashes have been on the rise across the country, but the federal government is implementing new strategies to help keep people safe. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says the goal with the new plan is 0 deaths. The effort to lower that number includes rethinking speed limits and studying greater use of speed cameras, along with $6 billion in grants for safer road designs, especially in certain communities.
It is disproportionately impacting some Americans more than others, people of color, Native Americans, low-income communities.
Preliminary data from the first half of 2021 shows more than 20,000 people died in wrecks. That is the most since 2006.
Still ahead for you tonight, breaking the ice. Why clearing a path along the Connecticut River is such a crucial job during the bitter cold.
All right, things are quiet this evening. Clouds move in tonight. Tomorrow, looking for temps to top out between 30 and 35. Well, in the week on a cloudy note, we could see a couple snow showers, but nothing too impactful. The main event is coming tomorrow night and throughout the day. Saturday, Winter Storm Bobby brings heavy snow, a gusty wind, poor visibility, likely power outages. It's going to be a rough go of it all day Saturday. Temperatures only top out in the upper teens and low 20s. You factor in the wind chill values in the single digits, if not below 0. Then Sunday, still breezy, not as windy, mostly sunny. That will be nice with highs in the low and mid 20s.
That's today's tip. You can see again tomorrow.
Welcome back, everyone. So the Connecticut River, as you can see, is frozen over in many places, but not for long.
Yeah, that's right. The U.S. Coast Guard was out breaking the ice today. Crews are clearing a channel up and down the river so fuel barges can make it upriver between Old Saybrook and Hartford. It's also important to help prevent ice jams, which can cause flooding and destroy piers.
Once the temperature gets below 30 or gets around lower 30s, the water temperature, it just takes a couple overnights of single digits in the teens and it'll freeze right over.
Now it takes an 8-member crew to run the Coast Guard cutter. This is their 3rd trip out all along the river this season.
All right, we're tracking Winter Storm Bobby. We've got alerts all across the region right now of the latest timing and what we can expect from how much snow to how strong the wind will get ahead in the early warning forecast.
Are supply chain issues getting in the way of storm preps? What you can expect if you're headed to the store.
And preventing overdoses at school. One district giving teachers and staff some life-saving training.
Connecticut's #1 local news. This is Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us right now at 5:30. Of course, we start tonight with the weather. Winter Storm Bobby is heading our way just in time for the weekend.
Yes, he is. We've been talking about this impending nor'easter for days, and we've officially named it Bobby. Meteorologist Mark Dixon has been looking at all of the models, and he's joining us now with the very latest on the timing and the track.
Yeah, Mark, Aaron, the track is coming into slightly better focus, which is good news, of course, as we head closer to the start time, which is still over 24 hours away. While there could be a couple snow showers in the state tomorrow, that is unrelated to Winter Storm Bobby. So statewide, we have a winter storm watch in effect throughout the course of Saturday. So by Saturday morning, we're going to be waking up to snow statewide, some already on the ground, but things really ramp up as the morning progresses. We're right now thinking the peak will be between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. And in that window of time is when we could see some snowfall rates, especially across eastern and southeast Connecticut at a rate of 1 to 2 inches an hour. And that same part of the state's where we could see some wind gusts up to, if not over 50 miles an hour, and also some near whiteout conditions. So we're going to likely miss out on the worst of the wind and the snow. That's going to be reserved for southeastern Massachusetts and the Cape, where we could see blizzard conditions. The storm is going to be winding down and exiting as we head toward Saturday evening. So the snow will end just shortly after sunset. And by then, we could see 12 to 16 inches throughout eastern and southeast Connecticut, perhaps some locally higher amounts as you get closer to 395 and near the Rhode Island border. Heading farther west and northwest from there, 6 to 12 inches, including the Hartford and New Haven areas. You get into the extreme northwestern corner of Litchfield County, a little bit less there. Farther from the storm center, 2 to 6 inches. So in the meantime, we've got a clear sky. We've got temps in the 20s, and we've got a wind chill right now in the teens. So if you have errands to run this evening or any to do tomorrow, you know, the weather more or less cooperates. The wind right now to the south is going to prevent temperatures from dropping into the single digits like we experienced this morning. We'll be in the teens and 20s overnight. And then throughout the day tomorrow, our clear sky that we are currently enjoying will be a cloudier one. A front off to our west moves in. So in fact, the cloud cover moves in this evening and overnight tomorrow. Plenty of cloud cover. You'll see some splotchy areas of blue indicating that chance for a couple snow showers. Again, nothing too impactful. Temperature wise, by 7 o'clock, we're in the low and mid 20s, and by lunchtime and during the course of tomorrow afternoon, highs between 30 and 35. Much more on Winter Storm Bobby, of course, coming up in the early warning 7-day.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. We know there are a lot of questions as we make our way closer to the weekend right now. The forecast and track still kind of coming together, as Mark was talking about. You can get answers right from Mark coming up tonight at 7 o'clock on Facebook Live. He will be answering your questions about Winter Storm Bobby.
Our team coverage continues right now with people preparing ahead of the snow, and with major food supply chain issues and the upcoming storm headed our way, grocery stores are scrambling to keep food on their shelves. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Courtney Zeller is joining us live from Rocky Hill tonight with more on what she is seeing. And Courtney, I imagine this is not helping matters in terms of those empty shelves.
Oh, definitely not. So, yes, we have been seeing empty shelves, but it depends really where you go, because some grocery stores, the produce section completely wiped out. Other stores you go to, produce is completely fully stocked. So we find out why that is.
Shopper Kale Gagnon has noticed something missing at some local grocery stores.
There definitely are empty spots on the shelves.
Depending where you shop, you may have seen meat, produce, even yogurt and milk wiped from store shelves. Some shoppers have learned to improvise.
I'm not picky, so like I buy a lot of fresh vegetables and fruit, but I'll take anything. So like I'm not like always buying apples or always buying bananas. Like I'll just buy whatever is there and available.
Highland Park Market Vice President Molly Devaney says she's dealing with some issues.
Every week we deal with something different. So last week it was orange juice. This week it's certain yogurts that we're out of stock on. Everything just has a way of catching up with itself.
She says it's a variety of things driving the problem: packaging, labor and trucking shortages, worker illnesses, and now add a snowstorm to the mix this weekend.
The perfect weather to, really create a buzz in the grocery store. So Thursday, Friday are going to be really busy for us.
But you'll notice the Manchester store is very well stocked, and there's a reason for that.
We tend to buy from we buy from our major wholesaler, and then we have also other different vendors that we use from and are able to buy from. So whether it's a food service company that we do business with, we're able to pull from them when we can't necessarily get it from our major supplier.
And many have noticed, which is why they shop here.
Most of my empty shelves are at my other stores.
And if you think you're paying more at the grocery store, well, you might be. But listen to this. According to the Food Industry Association, the average household spends $144 per week on groceries. They're saying that's down about $20 from the height of the pandemic last year. We're live from Rocky Hill. Courtney Zeller, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, Courtney, thank you very much.